Hello everyone, I'm just going to do a quick breakdown of today's two trades what I took. Today's the 30th of July 2026 and it's the day after FOMC, so today's a Thursday, FOMC was yesterday on the Wednesday, so I'm on Euro USD. This is the daily chart. I'll just mark out what I was looking at. We have, so here's today's candle, previous day's high there, and we'll also mark up this daily swing high there, which also was a weekly swing high on the weekly chart. Those were the areas I was looking at. As I said yesterday, FOMC, this candle displays higher, so I was looking to continue longs from here. If I drop to the hourly, I'll just mark up today's, that was yesterday, here's today. So we had this hourly gap here, which also overlapped with a 4-hourly gap. Yeah, I won't put too much on, but here's the 4-hourly gap, well, just for reference. And the hourly gap inside. So we had overlapping higher time frame PD rays, bullish PD rays. We had bullish targets with the previous day's high and this old weekly swing high. So and this was the FOMC displacement candle. So what I was looking for was London this morning to come into these higher time frame fair value gaps after the displacement high yesterday and look to get in long today, and that's what happened. I did take a loss though first. I'll show you both trades. So if I go to 3-minute, my first, if I just mark up which gap was which, this was the bullish 4-hourly candle, fair value gap, sorry, 4-hour fair value gap, and bullish hourly fair value gap. So London session is 2 till 4 AM. If I just put that on to show. So we came into this 4-hourly fair value gap in London, also swept Asia's low, which was here. We put this low in, here was my first entry. Then we put this low in at 2:30. This 3-minute chart traded and closed high above this swing high and left a gap. I'll just mark that out. There was a 3-minute gap there. After closing above this swing high, after being in the 4-hourly fair value gap in the right time, sweeping Asia's low, bullish bias, I entered from that gap there on the 3-minute. It was a tight stop, to be fair. It was only 3.5 pips, so it was tight. I'll just put that on at Asia's high and the previous day's high, where the target was. Got stopped out. London wanted to continue lower. That was fine, absolutely fine. But I still was looking for the same trade. Why? Because we were still in London. I still had my targets. I was still bullish, and we were still within, you know, these overlapping high time frame PD rays. So we put this low in again, still within London at 3:30. This time we didn't just come into the 4-hourly gap. We also came into the hourly gap, which was overlapping. So the trade was still valid. I still was on the 3-minute looking for an entry. However, when this started to displace, and left me, and we was leaving all the gaps behind, I switched to the 5 minute and was looking for an entry on there. But you know, the same thing happened. We was running with speed, and I thought, okay, we might not get this lower gap. So I went to the 15 minute for some better clarity, and the setup on here was amazing. Really, I couldn't have asked for any more. So this 15-minute gap formed after displacing above this 15-minute swing high. And honestly, here it was 4:30. The London session finishes at 5. I put my buy order on from the 15-minute fair value gap, but with it being, you know, half an hour to go and we was running with this speed, I didn't expect to be tagged in, if I'm honest. But this 15-minute candle traded down, it tagged me into the pip here, luckily got me in. I had 0 drawdown and it just continued in my direction with that energy. So yeah, we got previous day's high here and Asia's high. What time did we get that? 6:15. So within London lunch. I didn't hold for, you know, this other weekly swing high. There was no need after that. It was already 2.5 hours, and I'd already took a loss this morning. I did take a smaller loss on this, mind you, because I trailed my stop a little bit when we ran into. I was running about 1 hour on that initial trade, so I trailed my stop a tiny bit on that, which was damage limitation on that trade. I took less than full risk loss, so it was good management. But you know, 2.5 hours was plenty, more than enough for me. I didn't need to hold out for the rest of this. And then yeah, eventually we did get this old weekly swing high, and then New York, as you can see this afternoon, has just carried on flying as the dollar index has died off. So yeah, that was this morning's 2 trades. If I just put the framework here, what I was looking for. So we had daily bias, daily draw on liquidity. We had London Judas swing into higher time frame bullish PDRA. And then for the entry, we had the lower time frame displacement and a fair value gap to get in. So that was my top-down analysis. That was my framework. And yeah, the higher time frame and the lower time frame aligned.